Whew, okay, we've got a lot to unpack in this video because I wanted to share what it's like living in Dubai for the last year, what my experience has been like, how I found it and stuff, because there is a lot to talk about. I have made a couple of videos on my channel regarding moving to Dubai, sort of like a few months later, a few weeks later, whatever, sharing my experiences. But just to recap some of the reasons as to why I moved to Dubai. Quality of life here is incredible. I've always wanted to live in another country. I was looking at all sorts of places. I've mentioned before that San Diego in America, Southern California has been one of my favorite places on earth. I actually wanted to move there at one point, and just also kind of like try something else, try something different. Moving to Dubai has made me realize how big the world is, but at the same time how small it is as well, because I've realized there is so much more out there, so much more to learn out there, so much more to see. That's really opened my eyes up, and I realized actually to move country is much easier than you think. But I'm speaking from a person who was born and raised in the UK. I have a British passport, and a British passport is a very powerful passport. I can move and sort of go to loads of different places without visas and whatever else. Obviously, to move to Dubai, you need a visa, but anyway, like having a British passport does make it a lot easier to move to a lot of different countries. And of course, the other big reason, which I'm not sure why people feel like they are almost ashamed to say, is the taxes. The taxes in Dubai are incredible. If you're someone who is a high earner, but you're not sort of wealthy or rich yet, and you're looking to build your wealth, like I don't see what's wrong with moving to Dubai for a few years to sort of build up a portfolio, build up some money, build up some tax-free income, because it's completely legal to do. Of course, that's one of the biggest reasons, and I've never sort of shied away from that on this channel. I've always been very open about money, talking about money, because unfortunately, I feel like there's this big culture that you don't talk about money, that you don't share things about money, that you don't talk about these sorts of things, that it's like shameful to talk about it. And I think that actually creates an environment, a culture that's not designed for young people, especially, to learn about money, to understand money, to grow money, to understand what it takes to sort of use their money to their benefit. Lots of people naturally see money as a way to just sort of buy things and to do things with and to live this amazing lifestyle, when in reality, money is a lot more important than that. It can be used to make your life better, to make other people's lives better, to make your family lives better. Like, you need money to survive, like there's no doubt about it. So I hate this sort of culture of that you should be ashamed to talk about money. One of the biggest reasons I moved to Dubai was for the tax benefits. Now that doesn't mean I don't pay zero tax at all. I still have UK stuff going on. I still have a UK business. I still have people there and stuff. So I pay taxes there. Like, I'm happy to pay those taxes, it's not a problem. But my personal income, I don't have to pay taxes on that now because I've moved to Dubai, which is super, super powerful. So I've written down a few things here just to make sure I cover everything. One of the things actually was, and probably the most important question, and a question that I get asked a lot by people is, am I happy here? Am I happy that I moved? Right now, the way things currently are, yes, I'm very, very happy. I have no plans to move anywhere else right now. I plan to stay here 5 years, 10 years, maybe longer. A lot of people say that they'll be here for only 5, 10 years, but they end up staying for 20 years, 30 years, or their whole life. But in my head, I think to myself, okay, let's try Dubai out for 5, 10 years or whatever, before I have any children or anything, before I really settle down or anything. It kind of just makes sense for me. Safety. So safety has been a more important factor than I realized since moving to Dubai. I actually didn't realize how important the safety aspect was until sort of moved here and I've traveled back and forth to the UK and to other countries. I've done quite a bit of traveling over the last year, and it's really made me realize that Dubai is incredibly safe. Now, of course, does that mean it's 100% safe? No, not at all. There's no perfect country, right? But for day-to-day life, Dubai is just incredibly safe. Knowing that I can, for example, walk around with my phone out, use my phone in public and not have to worry about it being snatched out of my hand, as is the case in London. Yeah, it's such a minor thing. Like, you should be able to use your phone. You should be able to wear a nice watch. You should be able to have a nice car. You should be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? I mean, even just enjoying your phone isn't a fruit of your labor. That's just an essential need to use your phone in public. Maybe to get directions, maybe to call someone, maybe to see, whatever it might be. But in London, unfortunately, there is this weird thing of like, your phone will get snatched out of your hand. It's a shame that it's like that, but of course, there are a lot of layers to sort of go down when it comes to that sort of thing, which it will just take forever. But yeah, growing up in the UK and stuff, growing up in London, yeah, it's not exactly safe. Especially when, so for example, in the estate that I used to live in the UK, we have like a Facebook group in our state, and we used to see all sorts of sort of video footage and stuff from people's security cameras who live in the estate of just things being robbed, cars being robbed, people trying to get into the house and stuff. And I'm just like, this is the norm. How is that the norm? When did that become the norm? In Dubai, that is not the case. Now, of course, does it never happen? No, I'm sure things like that do happen here, but it is not the norm. And if you're found to do anything like that, you will be punished severely. Now, of course, that can also mean that there's this aspect of, oh, everyone's scared of the law, everyone's scared of the police. But I kind of think to myself, that's how it should be in some ways. Now, of course, there's no perfect system, like I said, but I feel like that's how it should be. I shouldn't have to worry about being mugged, being hurt, getting into fights or whatever when I'm just walking down the street. Like, that just shouldn't happen. So it's really nice that that safety aspect is so important here and so nice here. And from traveling to other countries and being other places I have been in the last year, the only other place that I feel like really comes close is Japan. I went to Japan in October last year, and that felt very, very safe. Like, you could go out at midnight and it will be safe. Now, Japan is obviously an outlier, right? Japan is known for being safe. But of course, Japan has its own cultural issues, just like every other place. Would I want to live in Japan? Probably not, especially as a foreigner. There's this obviously culture in Japan where they really do treat their own as their own, and anyone else outside of that, you're not really welcome. In Dubai, that is not the case. In Dubai, I feel like most people are welcome here. As long as you're someone who is an active part of the community, of the society, and you sort of just keep to yourself and you're not causing any trouble, you will be fine in Dubai. It's amazing. Next up is cleanliness. So cleanliness in Dubai is another level. Again, I didn't realize how dirty other countries are until I'd stayed in Dubai for, half a year. And then I, started going to other places, other countries and stuff, and I realized, wow, okay, Dubai is really clean. Like, graffiti doesn't exist here. Unless it's being placed purposely, the graffiti by an artist or something, graffiti is not here. And I realized going back to London, wow, there's graffiti everywhere. Like, it's wild. And again, I'm going to be comparing it to Japan here. Japan is known to be one of the cleanest places on earth. I would say Dubai is cleaner, which is crazy. Like, I just didn't expect Dubai to be that clean, but it really, really is. It's cleaner than Japan. And Japan is definitely up there, no doubt. One of the cleanest places. I've also recently been to Singapore. Again, Singapore is known to be a very clean place, but I wouldn't say it's as clean as Dubai is. Dubai, they take it really to another level. Is that a reason as to why you should move to Dubai because it's so clean? No, not at all. Like, I don't think that really matters too much. Of course, you don't want us to be living in a city that's really dirty, but just having a place that's immaculately kept can really, I feel like, help when it comes to just this image that you have in your head of the place, where if a place is clean and it looks well kept together, then you're also more likely to keep it well kept together because you want it to look clean. It sort of actively plays in your head that keeping things clean is the way of life here. Cost of living here is cheaper. There's no doubt about it. Now, of course, this very much depends on your current situation, right? It depends on your lifestyle, and it depends on where you're originally coming from. If you're coming from a major US city, you're coming from the UK, those sorts of places, which is obviously I'm used to, coming to Dubai, the cost of living is much cheaper. Now, of course, if you're moving from like Thailand or India, then cost of living is outrageous here, no doubt. But when you're coming from a Western country, from a Western city, the cost of living here is so cheap. Simple stuff like the prices of groceries and stuff can depend on where you shop, but generally it is cheaper, especially with, I know in the UK, the sort of cost of living has gone up so much and the price of just general everyday things like groceries have gone up so much that it's definitely more expensive to buy groceries there compared to Dubai. And it's the same with things like electricity and fuel, like fuel for your car. It is so much cheaper here compared to the UK and the US. Like, it's crazy. It really is impressive how much cheaper it is. Now, there are things that are more expensive, things like your phone plan, your internet plan, but it's not like it's outrageously expensive, but it is definitely more expensive compared to the US and the UK. I'm not sure how many people will agree with me on this one, but I do think the quality of food here in Dubai is just better. Considering it's the desert and most of the food has to be imported. Now, they do grow some of their own food because they have their own farms here, indoor farms, but most of the major supermarkets that I've been to here, the quality of the fruit and the veg and the meat is just incredible. Like, everything tastes amazing. I've noticed since moving here that I eat a lot healthier purely because the fruit and the veg is just tastier to eat. Like, I'm more likely to eat it because I know it's of amazing quality. Same with the meat. Meat can be more expensive depending on the type of meat you're buying, Like if you're buying steaks and stuff, yeah, it is more expensive, but the quality of it is just incredible. It's really blown my mind. Like, I'm not joking. My health and my quality of intake of food has just shot up incredibly. And of course, when it comes to choice, the choice you have here for food and the way you want to eat, I don't think there is any other city in the world that beats it. Whatever type of food you want, whether it be high quality Japanese food or whether it be some Turkish food, you will find it here, and you will find it in its most authentic form if you know where to look. And it's mainly because there are so many different types of people from all different countries that move here, and they're looking for authentic food, for food that reminds them of their own country. And there are, of course, people from their own country making restaurants, creating food that match the quality of the food that they would find in their country. So you can find all types of authentic food here, and it's been really, really impressive to me. I don't think in my lifetime I've had such a wide variety of food in such a short amount of time. I can go 1 week from having, like I said, authentic Japanese food, all the way to having, if I want dirty American barbecue ribs, I can get that as well. It's just amazing how many different types of food there is here and the quality of it all. Making friends and having a community. So this is something I completely understand is very difficult for some people. I am an outlier here. I'm not going to lie. I have found it very, very easy to make friends here. Maybe it's the type of person I am. Maybe it's because I'm willing to talk to anyone and sort of have a conversation or whatever and just discover what a person is like. Also, having an online presence like I do, having followers on Instagram, YouTube and stuff like that, I obviously already have friends who are in the space of doing this sort of thing. And a lot of them live in Dubai, a lot of them visit Dubai. Dubai seems to be like this hub for people to sort of meet up. So for me, it really hasn't been an issue. I found it very easy to make friends. I also think a lot of people who complain about they can't make friends is because I don't think they're making enough effort. I found that since moving here, I'm meeting up with friends a lot more regularly, and the variety of those friends, the range of those friends is much, much wider. When I was in the UK, I was usually just meeting the friends who are local to me because that's easy, that's where they are. But with Dubai, there are people, like I said, always flying in and out, right? Friends coming in and out all the time. YouTubers, other creators, other people in the space, business people, entrepreneurs, and I'm meeting them randomly here and there. They'll message me and be like, hey man, I'm in Dubai, let's meet up. And Dubai has been designed in a very unique manner compared to a city like London, where when you're in London, it can take maybe like an hour and a half to get across London, even when you're using public transport. It can be quite a lot of effort just to go see a friend in London. But in Dubai, you can usually drive anywhere in Dubai within 30 minutes, as long as you're not driving at rush hour. Because of the way they've designed the highways, the roads and stuff, you know, sure, there is no public transport. It would be really nice to have public transport. But as long as you're not driving at a rush hour, you can usually get anywhere in Dubai within 30 minutes. And I found it super easy to see friends who are either staying in like the marina or staying in downtown or just staying in another part of Dubai. Even going down to another city like Abu Dhabi only takes an hour to get there. So I can get down to Abu Dhabi in an hour, and that's like, I think that's like 150 kilometers or something. It's quite far, but you can get there very, very quickly because it's just one straight road. So for me, making friends here and the sort of community aspect of it has been incredible. I have not had any issues. Unfortunately, for people who are outside of Dubai, have this misconception that Dubai is this sort of party, lavish lifestyle living sort of place where everything is to the max all the time. But that's actually a very, very small portion of Dubai. I don't think a lot of people realize this because they just see the stuff on social media, they see it on YouTube videos, and it's usually stuff that's in like the marina or downtown Dubai. But those are actually very small parts. The lifestyle you have in Dubai, you can very much choose. You can choose to have the party lifestyle, to go out all the time, to be amongst the craziness all the time. You can do that if you like. But you can also have a very calm and serene lifestyle here. That's something that I wanted since moving here because I don't drink, don't party really. I've been to like sort of beach bars and beach clubs and stuff, but they're not also really my thing. Loud music and stuff. I sound really boring here, don't I? But loud music, super loud music just isn't my sort of thing. I love music, I listen to it all the time, but super loud music where I just can't even talk to the person next to me, that's not my sort of thing. But if that's what you like, you'll also love Dubai. But like I said, Dubai can also be a very calm and serene place. I live in a gated community, family-oriented community, and it is so quiet here. So quiet. I wanted to basically match the sort of calm lifestyle that I had in the UK here, and you can do that. And the great thing is I can drive 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and I can be at the beach. And again, just enjoy the beach and enjoy the sunshine. There's so many things here that is designed for comfort, really, to have a calm and comfortable lifestyle. Also, because of the communities they have in Dubai, you can live in any type of community you like. So you can live in a community that's very sort of sports orientated, like the sports city, where you can live in sports city. There's also pet friendly communities. So if you have a dog and you want to take your dog for walks regularly, you want to go to the park and stuff, there are specific communities in Dubai where it makes it super easy for you to just leave your apartment, leave your house and take your dog for a walk, take it to the park, whatever. And there are other people there who also own dogs and other animals and stuff. It's just designed to be pet friendly, which I think is actually super, super smart. During the winter months between October and March, I don't think I would want to be anywhere else on earth. Like the weather here is just about perfect. It hovers anywhere between 20 to 30 degrees. Sometimes it goes over 30 degrees, but 20 to 30 degrees in the day and then sort of like 10, 15 degrees in the night. During the winter months, it is so nice. Like I really don't want to be anywhere else. And it's one of the other reasons why I really like the lifestyle here. Now, there's a big con with that, which is the summer. The summer in Dubai is brutal. Like there's no doubt about it. You're mainly just sitting inside, you're mainly sitting in AC. Yeah, it's not exactly ideal if you're someone who is a very outdoorsy person. I'm not super outdoorsy. Doing the job that I do and the lifestyle that I have, I do spend a lot of it inside. So for me, it's not been too much of an issue, but I also have the luxury of being able to afford to travel quite regularly. So during the summer months here, I like to travel. I like to go back to the UK, I like to go to parts of Europe, and just anywhere else that I want to go, I usually do during the summer to avoid the heat here and to go somewhere cooler. But even then, when I go somewhere like UK or Europe or whatever in the summer, it's still warm. It's technically Dubai's winter. So it's just funny how basically all year round I have the summer. The seasons for me, I can choose the season, which is wild when I think about it. I'm in this very fortunate position where I can choose the season any time of the year. It's a very lucky and fortunate position to be in. But yeah, the summers in Dubai are pretty brutal. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the 0% income taxes and the 9% corporation tax, depending on the company you're running and stuff, like it has really changed my life in terms of how I'm planning my sort of retirement, my portfolio, my future. Since moving here, I am saving over 50% of my income. Over 50%. Probably a bit more than that actually. And most of it is just going into my investments, into my savings, which is just, it's crazy how quickly that's growing compared to how slowly it was growing in the UK, because obviously I was having to pay a lot of taxes in the UK. I've realized how powerful that can be in terms of sort of like life planning and how I'm going to live my life in the future, how I'm living my life now. I can have a lot more freedom in what I spend my money on. Having 0% income taxes, sort of personal income taxes, is just incredibly powerful, especially if you're someone who is a high earner. If you're someone who's earning more than 6 figures, if you're someone who's earning more than 7 figures, like the amount of money you save in taxes moving to Dubai is just, it's like you're taking home double the income pretty much, depending on the country you're moving from. So it can make a huge difference. Now, different laws in different countries. In the UK, for example, I can move from the UK and still be a British citizen and go back to the UK whenever I like, but be a tax resident of Dubai. Obviously, I have to spend a certain amount of days in Dubai and I can only spend a certain amount of days in the UK. Whenever I want to, I can move back to the UK. Like I said, if I want to move back to the UK in 5 years, 10 years, whatever, I can do that, no problem. I think there is this thing about with capital gains and stuff, capital gains taxes. If you move back within 5 years, you are liable to pay the taxes in the UK. But I'm not a tax expert. It's why I have an accountant. I actually have 2 accountants. I have an accountant in the UK and I have an accountant here in Dubai, and obviously they manage my various different things. My UK accountant manages all my UK stuff. So yeah, if you're someone who is a high earner, but you're not rich yet, so Henry, they like to call them, I would very much take into consideration moving to Dubai. It doesn't have to be permanently, but it can be a good way just to build a portfolio to get yourself sort of further along the path than you would in another country. If you are interested in moving to Dubai yourself or the UAE, I've actually partnered with an agency that has a done for you service. They help me manage my business, they help me manage all aspects of my business, and they've helped out other friends as well. This service is especially designed for those who want a streamlined experience in moving. You don't want to deal with any of the paperwork, you don't want to deal with any of the hassle or anything. You're willing to pay someone just to do the job for you. This is the agency that does it all for you. I think this is very much ideal for someone who is a high earner. You know, you don't really want to be dealing with the paperwork and sort of the logistics and stuff. You'd rather pay someone else because you don't have the time. I was the same. I don't really have the time to learn about everything moving to Dubai. I want someone to do it for me. And these guys are incredible. They do it for so many different businesses. They manage like over 1,000 different businesses alone, and like they've helped thousands of people move to Dubai. So if you guys are interested, I'll leave a link to it. I've partnered with them. And yeah, if you're interested in moving to Dubai, check it out. So yeah, Dubai can be a very wild ride or a very calm, serene way of living. It really depends on how you want to live your life. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed me rambling about Dubai and my experience here over the last year. I feel like there is so much more that I could sort of talk about. There is so much more sort of to discuss. I know lots of people are going to have questions as well. Please leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer some of the comments. I can't reply to everyone's comments, but if there's anything interesting in the comments, I'll definitely reply to them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.